So, the anime I stumbled upon that I mentioned in previous entry was called Love, Chunibyo, and Other Delusions, or Throb. We're just gonna call it Chunibyo for short though. I will say, it's been a long time since I watched an anime where the setting was in a high school, and the majority of the time, we the viewers, stayed in the high school setting. At least on top of my head, the last anime like that I watched was, I think, Angel Beats? And that happened a couple of years ago at this point. So, some time has passed since then. But I have to say, Chunibyo pleasantly surprised me. The first episode, to summarize, was cute and utterly cringe-inducing in a simultaneous fashion, with the introduction of the main man, Yuta, who's trying to fit within what he knows as the societal standards of a high school boy, rather than being himself, whilst Takanashi is unashamedly herself to a ridiculous degree, ignoring any sort of norms, leading her to being utterly imaginative and silly, which I found quite adorable. From the first to the fourth episodes, new characters arrive to the scene and make themselves known and presence felt. In the second, we meet the elder sister of Takanashi, who I found amazing for the blackmailing bit, and we really get to see Takanashi's imagination go wild from her perspective when she basically has a boss battle with her elder. Was thoroughly surprised by the animation in said boss battle. Totally came out of the blue, a welcome surprise to be sure. In the third, we encounter Kumin and Sanae, with the former being utterly based for attempting to make a napping club I'd instantly join, and the latter being a friend of Takanashi's, who too possesses an equal amount of imagination, being Takanashi's self-proclaimed apprentice. Most notable parts about the third were the sensei calling out Takanashi's BS by speaking in French. That was hilarious. Then the duel between master and apprentice. The fight scenes still shocked and awed me. Wish they went on for longer. In the fourth, the class president and the girl Yuta is crushing on, Nibutani, joins the fray in joining the club that was formed by the previous characters mentioned. Don't remember the name of the club. Anyways, I'm thinking she joined because maybe she's lonely being in the spotlight and she noticed these guys seemingly having fun, but nope. Turns out, in her past, she too was just like Takanashi and Sanae, now being a reformed crazy, as I call it, similarly to Yuta, with Sanae in particular having compiled her past self's posts and notes, so to speak, into a, from Sanae's perspective, a holy journal to follow the many tenets in. Her reason for joining said club was to destroy said journal, which embodied the embarrassment and shame of her past self. However, she ultimately fails to do so and is essentially stuck to this club in perpetuity due to the fact that she's just that determined to destroy any evidence in regard to the existence of the journal, and that Sanae has apparently made 100 copies of said journal. This episode honestly reminded me and made me remember my teenage years when I went through a startlingly similar phase to Takanashi and Sanae when I did RP online. Equally fond and cringe memories simultaneously. In the sixth, we get more info and background in regards to another character seen and introduced in the first, Ichiki, who I declare as the ultimate bro for making the sacrifice play and admitting he and he alone made the list of hottest girls in class, not telling them it was a list voted amongst the boys of the class. He only lost his dignity and was forced to accept the punishment he declared for himself, and shaved his head bald. An utter bro right there. In the fifth, we see that Takanashi is utterly hopeless at math. A 2 out of 100. Nah man, I know I'm bad at math, but not that bad. But now at this point, the existence of this club now rests on her shoulders and she must pass an important mathematics test. Don't remember if it's a semi-semester or a semester math test. Either way, she's got to get an above average grade for said test. Before doing the normal thing, Takanashi goes through a multitude of more imaginative and bizarre methods in order to increase her chances of passing the test, before Yuta tells her to do the normal thing and study, ultimately ending up with Yuta helping her out with said studying, with the culmination of all that hard work and effort in said studies resulting in a fail. But the whole class failed, and she in fact held a score that was above average, above the failing grade class average, but above is above. Honestly, what a shit sensei. Either they're terrible at their job, or the test that they made, the difficulty level was set far too high. Notable things to occur were the small cute moments between Takanashi and Yuta, and the hints to a potentially darker past of Takanashi's. That potentially becomes actuality going into the 7th and 8th, as it is revealed that her Chunibyo started as a psychological response to her father passing away, and her mother, in her grief, had to step away from everything, with only her grandparents and her elder sister being her main guardian, so to speak. Man, I was emotionally distraught and torn and utterly confused about what emotions I was supposed to feel. Utter roller coaster of this pair of episodes. You have the cute moments between Takanashi and Yuta, Ichiki being love-struck for Kumin, the sad moments in the reveal of Takanashi's past, the elder sister not knowing how to deal with Takanashi's Chunibyo, and funny moments in the large dog constantly accosting Nibutani, and Sanae getting sunburnt, her skin being sensitive to the lightest of touch, resulting in excruciating pain. Just emotions and feelings all over the place, really. At least at the end of the 8th, Takanashi is beginning to have feelings for Yuta, but she doesn't know how to interpret said feelings at that point. Said emotional whirlwind continues onward in the final episodes in the 9th to 12th. In the 9th, Nibutani confronting Takanashi, making her realize the feelings she holds for Yuta is love. Her reaction is just so cute. She's just so utterly love-struck once the realization settles in. The ending to the 9th, though, really caught me off guard. Did not expect genuine, actual danger to occur at all in this anime. Had me properly scared for a sec and holding my breath. It is shortly after that event, within the 10th, that Yuta has begun to realize his own blossoming feelings for Takanashi. But differing from Takanashi is in a state of disbelief that the student he met by happenstance is now the individual he's falling for. But he thankfully quickly comes to his senses, and somehow, within the same episode, Takanashi and Yuta confess one another's feelings, and my god, these two are so goddamn cute. I smiled just thinking about the two. I'm honestly forgetting a lot of what happened in the 10th just because the two were so goddamn cute. But a significant event equal to the confessions, in terms of importance, occurs too within the 10th, which was Yuta making Takanashi face reality, basically forcing her out of her Chunibyo phase. The ending of the 10th, eye contactless Takanashi, was the whoa moment, the signifier that she has awoken to reality. In the 11th, Takanashi is now having to readjust to reality, a hard adjustment too, seen throughout the episode, with her now former apprentice, Sanae, being forced to face reality by both Takanashi and Yuta, respectively, with the latter event, Yuta's reality check being especially far more emotional than I anticipated. But hints are dropped left and right that Yuta is starting to miss Chunibyo Takanashi, but wants to reassure her that she made the right choice. However, after that confrontation with Sanae, he ultimately regrets forcing the Chunibyo out of Takanashi. In the 12th, that regret is displayed on full force as Takanashi goes missing and Yuta, being crazy in love, determined, and a former Chunibyo, searches and goes after her. But before he can get further, he's stopped by Kumin and is told of how Takanashi saw him during his Chunibyo phase from a distance, and how that acted as the basis for her Chunibyo phase to escape the reality she faced. He goes onward, even more determined to right his wrongs, and with a little luck, help from the club, and activating his former imaginative self, his former Chunibyo self, he reawakens Takanashi's Chunibyo self, and the 12th ends with the two of them on a bicycle getting chased by the police, since from a normal person's perspective, Yuta kidnapped Takanashi from her grandparents' home. So that's awkward, but a fitting, funny, silly ending for a former and a reawakened Chunibyo. Man, I enjoyed this anime far more than I anticipated. While I did encounter this anime by happenstance, I did ultimately decide to start watching it solely on the basis that I'd seen images and maybe fan art of Takanashi from a long time ago. Anyways, overall, the characters and the writing are really good. Kumin is the GOAT though for sleep and rejection. The characters felt real, especially with Nubitani and Yuta cringing anytime their past was brought up. I'd be the exact same, just so utterly embarrassed and ashamed about it. Very good writing. The art and animation are amazing. The short fight scenes were splendid, and the little details were chef's kiss. Like the sudden tense atmosphere in the class interrogation scene in regards of the hottest girls list, the symbolism of the eye contactless Takanashi, and the butterflies that appear around Takanashi once Nibutani forces the issue of her feelings on Yuta. Probably more details I missed, honestly. Just everything was so good. Kyoto Animations cooked for this one. Rating Love, Chunibyo, and Other Delusions, I'd give it an 8.1 out of 10. Really thought about it, definitely enjoyed it more than Hell's Paradise. Was really thinking if I preferred it over any of the JJK seasons. Ultimately decided not, but it is very close. And it was a very long thought. Really was debating in my head about it, but I prefer action, not gonna cap. And while I did relate to this show similarly to a way I relate to my beloved Bochi, I cringe much more thinking about and relating to my role-playing days versus relating to Bochi, and both of us are massive introverts. So that's what decided it for me. Things of note. Whilst I want to continue and watch the second season of this anime, I've got no source where I could watch it, not to mention the OVA in between the first and second seasons. So I'm gonna have to pause on watching the entire series until I can find a platform to watch it on. But I have decided the next anime I'm gonna watch. That is to be GTO, aka Great Teacher Onizuka. Pretty excited about that. Been a long time coming. Currently on a deload week right now, much needed. Kinda concerned a bit. Left knee has been bothering me for a while now, and it's still bothering me, and it's already past the halfway point through the deload week. Hopefully, it's just taking its time to heal. Also, itching to illustrate. We'll find the time for that. But also, gaming. Damn you, time. Damn you. Anyways, gonna drink water, brush teeth, and sleep, whilst Neon of Unit B of Mech Park plays Rhythm Heaven in the background. Mata... Nah. This journal entry was written on August 12th, 11 p.m.
Pretty good idea.
Thanks. I have those sometimes.